Name?
My name is Gerald Sparks. I'm a member of Local 1118 Painters and Allied Trade Union. I got a two-part question for you. First, with over 79,000 Syrian refugees already coming into the States and tens of thousands more coming in, how can you guarantee that there's none that have been radicalized? And two, don't you feel that that money would be better spent taking care of the tens of thousands homeless veterans we have sleeping on the streets every night, some with children, and the ones committing suicide daily? Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah. Well, first, let me say, sir, that we don't have tens of thousands of Syrian refugees coming in. We're trying to admit several thousand. So far, I think we've been able to admit about 2,500. In contrast, Canada's taken in 25,000. We're a much bigger country. Germany's taken in 500,000. There's a tragedy going on there, and people are homeless and dying, and we're the biggest, wealthiest country on earth, and we have some obligation to help, just like we'd expect people to help if Americans were in trouble. And so I think it's really important to understand we're not spending a lot of money on bringing in and housing refugees. And this is what I mean about making sure that when we're deciding about elections and voting, that we look at the facts. I'm trying to get more refugees admitted. It's not close to the kinds of numbers you're talking about. We just can't, because, and the reason is because refugees are actually admitted on a much stricter standard than the average tourist who's coming in on a visa. They have to go through a full background check. FBI, our intelligence agencies, check through every single person who comes in. It's like a month-long process. But if you are somebody from France, you don't even need a visa. You just hop on a plane, you're here in the United States. And if you're a member of ISIL that happens to be a citizen of France or Germany, you come on in. Much more risk is involved in terms of just ordinary tourists, or for that matter, American citizens who've gotten brainwashed by ISIL on the computer, like they did in San Bernardino, and suddenly they just go to the local gun store, where, by the way, because the Republicans have blocked it, we can't even put them on a list to prevent them from buying weapons. That's a much bigger danger than the Syrian refugees. Now, the second point you made about veterans' homelessness, one of the things that I did when I came into office is I said, if somebody's put on the uniform of this country and fought for our freedom, they cannot be homeless. And our goal should be zero homelessness, zero tolerance for homelessness. And we have cut veterans' homelessness since I've been in office by about a third. Tens of thousands of veterans who used to be homeless are now housed. But one is too many. So we've got some cities where they've set a goal of zero homeless veterans, and they've actually achieved it. We're going to keep on working as long as we have to get this done, and we have budgeted the dollars to make sure that every veteran is put in place. But I just want to say that the reason that we've got veterans homelessness is not because of Syrian refugees. It's not because of undeserving folks on welfare. It's because we've had a Congress that for too long talks tough about patriotism and looking out for our troops, and orders folks are fine with us sending 180,000 people into war, but then when it came down to the actual veterans budget, it wasn't there. And I increased the veterans budget more, the VA budget, more than any president in history. Increased it 11% my first year. But we still got work to do on it.
Mr. President, I'm going to try to squeeze in
Thank you for
another
the question,
50.
though. Are you a veteran yourself?